Hello everybody, it is Zach, and I'm here today with my March TBR. My March TBR is quite ambitious. It includes 12 books, but 6 of those are graphic novels, which historically I'm able to read through rather quickly, so I'm very hopeful that I'm able to complete all these books during the month. Let's start off this TBR with my graphic novels. I'm going to run through them rather quickly. The first one being American Born in Chinese. I read the 2 other graphic novels by this author, Boxers and Saints, that duology. I wasn't really that big of a fan of them. I really enjoyed the artwork and the story was interesting. I just didn't really know a lot of the historical content that was in the book, so I found it rather difficult to comprehend. The next graphic novel I hope to read is The Undertaking of Lily Chen. I don't really know much about this. I believe it is about a girl whose brother passes away in an accident, and then there's some sort of family drama after his passing. The art in this is truly fantastic, which makes me very excited to pick this up. The next graphic novel, I'm not really sure if you'd consider this a graphic novel. I think it is just a short book with images, but it is A Monster Calls by Patrick Ness. I believe this is about like a young teenage boy who like wakes up in the middle of the night and there's a monster of some sort in his backyard. I'm not really quite sure much about the plot. I just know I've heard many people talk about it, especially a lot of booktubers, so I'm very excited to pick this up during the month of March. The next graphic novel I would like to read is Stitches by David Small. I believe this is about a boy who has surgery, and I think the surgery leaves him mute. It like removes his vocal cords. I'm not really sure, don't quote me on that. I really like the artwork in this graphic novel. It's very minimalistic, which is something I haven't seen much in graphic novels. A lot of the graphic novels I've been reading recently are very detailed and very heavily saturated, but I'm very excited to read this. I've heard some mixed reviews about it, so I'm not going in with very high expectations, but I hope nonetheless it is an intriguing story. Next I have March by John Lewis. This is the first book in a graphic novel trilogy about civil rights in the South. I believe this first book is about the desegregation of schools in the 1960s in Alabama. I think it's really important that they're making graphic novels based off of important historical events. Flipping through it, there are some images that are hard to view, but I think being able to visualize the historical events rather than just reading them is very important and something that I hope they continue in other graphic novel series. The final graphic novel I hope to read this month is Through the Woods by Emily Carroll. This is just kind of a spooky graphic novel. I believe there's 5 stories within this book, and all these stories take place in the woods of some sort. I'm not quite sure. It seems really spooky, and I was hoping to read it around Halloween time, but it was available at my library, so I wanted to check it out before someone else did. So I'm very excited to read this month. I have 2 ebooks on my Kindle that I hope to read this month. I checked them out on my library's ebook online database thing. The first one being Anatomy of a Misfit by Andrea Cortez. I checked this out because the tagline was Mean Girls meets Perks of Being a Wallflower. I obviously love both of those, and it just seems like a quick contemporary read, so I'm hoping to get through this month. And then I picked up The Dinner by Herman Koch. I don't really know how I say his last name. I've been hearing so many people talk about this book. It's always on display at Barnes & Noble. I read the description on the website, my library's website, but I don't really remember anything about it, so I'm going into this with 0 expectations and 0 information about the plot. Recently at Barnes & Noble I picked up Still Alice by Lisa Genova. I'm very excited to read this. I've been seeing trailers for the film, and the film seems amazing. This is about a 50-year-old college professor who teaches at Harvard. She is diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's, and it's just kind of about how that affects, you know, her life, her children. I think this sounds like such a haunting and intriguing story, so this is going at the top of my TBR once I get through the graphic novels. I'm so excited to be reading this month. And then I hope to read Never Let Me Go. The author of this novel, I could not pronounce their name. I believe this is about 3 individuals who go to a boarding school together in like the English countryside, and I think they're reflecting upon their stories and their life and their time at the boarding school. I was given this book, and I'm hoping that I will enjoy it. Next I have We Should Hang Out Sometime by Josh Sudquest. I've been a fan of Josh's for years. I watched his YouTube videos for as long as I can remember, and I read his previous memoir, Just Don't Fall, a few years back. The thing I like about his memoirs is they're written for young adults, which is great. He's also a motivational speaker, so that really comes through in his writing. He's not only able to really relate to the reader, but he's really able to motivate them, which I think is interesting writing for young adults. You know, young adults are very impressionable, so he's really able to keep the reader in mind, and you can really tell that he wants to not only tell a story, but to help motivate young people. The final book I hope to read this month is Falling Into Place by Amy Zhang. I hope that's how you pronounce it. This is about a high schooler who decides to commit suicide by driving her car off a cliff. I believe the suicide attempt is unsuccessful, and I believe this book is a collection of flashbacks told in a non-linear way, so that aren't chronological. I think this is very interesting. I like reading young adult, but I've recently found that I've kind of grown past the fluffy contemporary young adult, although I do really enjoy reading young adult that deals with darker issues. So those are the 12 books that I hope to read during the month of March. It is a bit ambitious, but I think I'm going to be able to succeed. I have spring break this month, as well as just a bit more free time than I've had for a while, so I'm pretty sure I'm going to be able to complete them all. Like always, I'm going to go ahead and leave my social media information in the description below, including my Goodreads. Feel free to add or follow me there. And if you liked this video, please feel free to subscribe, comment, like, all that good stuff. It'd be awesome if you left a comment telling me if you've read any of these books, as well as what are you reading this month? I'd love to know. And until next time, happy reading!